Well, Jessica, why don't you tell me what brings you here today?
I've just been feeling really unhappy lately.
Okay, so you've been feeling unhappy?
Yeah, my family, I've just been really upset with my husband, and I'm kind of curious, or starting to think about if maybe leaving him might be something I need to do.
Okay, so you've been unhappy with your husband and thinking about leaving him?
Yeah, and I mean, on one hand, I know that that's where I'm wanting to go, possibly, but on the other hand, I'm wanting to stay. So I'm kind of torn between if that's where I want to go with it.
Okay, so you feel torn or stuck between decisions about leaving your husband?
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know which way I need to go right now.
Okay, so what's making you feel like you need to leave your husband?
Well, lately, he just hasn't been helping me with parenting our sons. One of them has cat scratch fever, and so we've been having to make a lot of visits to the emergency room, and he has not been going with me to these visits, and he also has not been helping watching the other son while I'm going to the hospital, and it's just been adding a lot of stress on me.
Okay, so it sounds like you're stressed because your son has his health issues and you'd like some support from your husband, but he hasn't been providing that for you?
Yeah, and I mean, it's just been very stressful. Like, I want him to be the father figure, I want it to be a partnership in handling our children. But I've told him this 100 times, and he's just not listening to me. Like, when we were at the hospital, he was just like, well, I'll be there, and then he never showed up. And I mean, I don't want that. But on the other hand, I really don't want to leave him either. So I'm kind of stuck on what I need to do. I don't know what the best decision is.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is like you have an idea of what a marriage would be, a partnership, and him supporting you with things, and he's not there for you like you want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you want to stay with him.
Yeah, it's I want to stay with him for his relationship with my sons. I don't want to I'm scared if I take their father out of their life, they may not have a relationship with them anymore, and I don't want to hurt that.
Okay, so it sounds like you really value that your son has a relationship with his father, and you feel as if you leave him, then that relationship will be damaged in some way.
Yeah, and he isn't being the best parent right now for as far as a partner, but I know he cares about him, and I know that, my sons look up to him very much.
Okay. So, what would be the worst case scenario if you were to leave your husband? What's your greatest fear?
That it would hurt their relationship, that he might decide that he doesn't want to be a part of my son's life at all, and then I've taken their father away from them. That's what I feel like, at least, is that would hurt them.
Okay, so it sounds like you have some very normal fears about messing up the family, separating your kids from your father if you leave them.
Yeah, and that's something that I worry about.
Okay, and what would the best thing to come out of this if you were to leave him?
Well, that he would still continue to have a relationship with my boys, but I would be able to find happiness, because I'm not happy right now. I'm extremely unhappy, and I don't see him changing in the future, because this has been going on for a few years, and I've talked to him about it, and he's just he's not going to change right now. And so the best case scenario would be that I would be able to find someone later or find in myself to be happy. But, I'm just not. It's bringing me down.
Okay, so your happiness is a big priority for you right now, but as well as your son's happiness.
Yeah. And so, that's what I'm stuck on, is that do I stay with him? Even though I'm unhappy and even though he's not being emotionally supportive for me, so that he can have that relationship with my son, or do I leave him and possibly hurt their relationship, but find better support for myself?
Okay. So it sounds like you have some real fears about keeping your family together and what can happen if you maybe break that by leaving him.
Yeah.
Have you brought this up with him? Your feelings?
Yeah, and he doesn't know I'm considering leaving him. I've threatened it in the past, but he just always ignored it and just blew it off. I tried leaving him before, but I never was able to do it for more than a couple of days.
Okay.
But he just doesn't care. Or like with the parenting thing, I'm going to get better, but it never happens.
So he says a lot of things, but you haven't been able to see any change in his behavior.
Yeah. And so that's why I think it's making me more depressed, is that I'm just stuck. And I don't know what to do. I'm stuck between them.
So you feel stuck and depressed?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I'm crying all the time. I'm not happy. I'm feeling so overwhelmed with everything I'm having to do. And I'm getting a lot of stress from my parents because they're having to help out a lot because he's slacking. They feel that since I'm married, that he should be helping me financially and he should be helping me with the kids, and that's just not happening.
So you're feeling a lot of stress from not getting all the things you need from your husband, and your family also sees that and feels that you should be supporting you as well.
Yeah, and it's causing all kinds of conflict in my life, and I don't know, it's just making me really unhappy.
Okay. And how does that play out in being unhappy in your life?
I am basically doing the same routine besides taking my son to all the doctor visits and hospital visits. I have no friends because I don't have any time to myself because I'm basically a single parent, even though someone else is in the household. I don't have anything to do outside of the house, and I don't have time to do anything outside of the house.
So it sounds like you're on your own a lot, even though
Yeah.
your husband.
Yeah, and like, if we weren't together, my family would be more helpful. They even offered me support if I did leave, that I could live with them and they would help me with the boys. But right now, they're kind of seeing it as he needs to step up since he's the one I'm living with, and it's just not happening. And I'm always stressed as well about money because he's not providing adequate finances for our family. There's times where hundreds and hundreds of dollars go missing a month. He has no idea where it's gone to, and that's very stressful.
So also you feel it's not supporting you with the money, in addition to just being there for you and your son.
Yeah, I'm just really unhappy about the situation, but I don't want to make the wrong decision and hurt my children either.
So what would be your first step, just hypothetically, if you wanted to leave him?
So, I guess to figure out where I'm going to stay. My parents had offered a place. I have a couple of friends who offered. I don't have a job, so I would have to stay with somebody else.
And how would you feel about making that step?
Right now, I feel like I'm not ready to do that. to take that next step. I feel like it's scary.
It's scary.
Mm-hmm.
It is scary to take that first step, especially when you've been comfortable with how things have been.
Yeah, and I don't want to have to explain to my child, why mommy and him are moving, or mommy and both boys are moving to a new place.
So you've got a lot of the thoughts in your head for good reasons, but it's a scary step to have to be the one to tell your son that, or to even confront your husband about it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I used to love my husband too, and I don't want to, it makes me sad to think that I won't have him in my life, as my husband anymore if I do that. Like, we may not be able to work it out if I go through, and we might actually end up splitting up, so it's scary.
So you have a lot to be scared about. I mean, this is your family.
Yeah, and it's worrisome taking those steps.
Okay. So, I mean, so far I've heard you really want support from your husband, but you're not getting that, and you feel you may never get that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, do you want to stay because you really want to preserve your family, and even if the support is not much from your husband, it's much better than what you feel you might be getting if you were to leave him.
Yeah, I'm just really stuck between the two. I just don't know where I'm going to go from here.
Okay.
I'm really kind of weighing my options right now. But I know that I really don't want to be sad anymore.